Hello, welcome to Conversations for the Moving Self. I am your host, Megan, a lifelong movement artist and facilitator. Each week, I invite you inside of the honest conversations that I have been having with some incredibly inspiring movement and well-being practitioners, as we unpack the beautiful roller coaster it is to pursue a lifestyle built around movement and well-being. Join us as we share and reflect on the moments where movement lights your soul on fire, to the situations where you begin to question everything. Welcome to Conversations for the Moving Self, episode 10. I'm super excited to have Jiwon Oh here for the last episode of season 1. Jiwon is a Korean dance artist, choreographer, and performer, and multidisciplinary artist. She's currently living in London, but Jiwon and I studied together at London Contemporary Dance School, which led her into beginning her career in contemporary dance performance and working with various international artists. Jiwon is someone who I have always felt super grounded by, and like I can walk into a room and just exhale if I see Jiwon. I think I'm super excited to have Jiwon here today also to hear a little bit more about her creation process. I've watched many of her works, but it's something that I've never been able to be inside of, and I've always been super intrigued by it because I think Jiwon has such a creative mind, but also values the humans in the space in a way that I really respect and honor. And yeah, I'm just super excited to have a nice moment to reflect and chat with Jiwon and share all things about around creativity and warmth and everything that Jiwon always brings every time I see her. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm really honored to have this conversation with you.
Mm, much love. I guess to start, yeah, we'll just jump straight in. How you're in London right now and it's like the afternoon there. How are you showing up for your own movement and well-being practice today? How are you doing?
Today, well, yesterday I had a free studio space. So I went and did some improvisation, filmed myself. So today I just watched through all the films that I have from yesterday. Um, I didn't really like them. So,
Understand.
um, yeah, but yeah, I think that's like what happens for the most of the times when I like film myself and watch it back. I don't like it, but then yeah.
Yeah, it's super relatable. I think I also something I notice in myself, like when I have studio time, a lot of times if I watch it when I watch it the first time, I like really hate it. And then sometimes if I give it a chance and I go back a second time, then I start to see, okay, like maybe this offered me this or and I can have a little bit more perspective on it. But I also like that you slept on it. This is nice to
Mm,
now
rather
watch
than
it straight after.
um yeah, somehow I just don't really like watching myself dance
It's
in the format
hard.
of a video. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't think this was a very positive way to start our conversation.
No, it's I think it's super important as well because I think those moments where we're in say our room watching these videos, right? And the inner dialogue is going like, oh, I don't like it. And it starts to feel like it's at moments it can start to feel like, oh, like why did I go use the studio space, or why did I spend the money, or like I never like it. And but I think probably majority of us do that.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
I don't think it's a bad way to start the conversation at all. I actually think it maybe just normalizes the reality of what's actually happening as an artist. Like and I guess it made me think as well, like there's this, as a artist who uses our body as the instrument, like there's such a personal layer there.
Yeah.
And also within that, like some people will feel stronger as dancers or movers on camera, and others maybe in like live performance. And same to like what, like there's preference both in like how you like to be viewed and how you like to view something.
Mm.
So it made me think of that as well, not just like in the
Mm.
criticism way, but also in the preference way of like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have final thoughts on what even I feel about myself, but it made me think of that.
I guess we just need to keep going, keep
Yes.
writing, keep
Yeah.
filming, get used to not liking it,
Mm.
get used to liking some bits.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, keep going. I also, it made me think about during COVID, I had a really good friend who we were kind of motivating each other through the online period. And she was constantly taking improv videos of herself in her home space. And she had like a space that was for dancing and whatever. And so during COVID, she convinced me to do like an improv challenge with myself. And I filmed myself like every day for a month. And I remember at the time, like it made it a lot easier to wrap my head around like filming and finding like both the ability to go like, okay, I like this section, and also to be like, okay, I don't like it, but it doesn't matter. Like, because if it wasn't filmed, then I wouldn't have even thought twice about it necessarily. And maybe it's, yeah, just another tool that we have to practice. Hmm. Yes. It,
That's the
yeah,
sense.
I guess you go.
I guess like the sense of being disappointed with our videos. Um, it's a bit more exaggerated, I guess, because now the studio space, we don't have it for granted. So we just want to make the most out of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
100%. Yes, I remember when we were graduating, like being so aware of the fact that studio space was going to disappear and just being like, I don't know what to do because there's no way to slow down time and to make it stay.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to stay. And yeah, and it actually made me wonder for you at this point in your career, like, or even yesterday specifically, was the studio space for creation purposes or for like just going to dance or for both? Or yeah, what was like your intention going into the space?
It wasn't for creating anything. I just went to just move around, dance, because I haven't been doing that for a while, I think. Like
Mm.
just going in an empty space and dancing. Um, yeah, I just did it for my own pleasure.
Yeah, which is such a great thing. Um, oh, good. I'm happy you had that moment. Yeah, it's something that when you start to get more into the career, I feel like it starts to be a bit more fleeting. And to have the like alone time as well to go and just do it for pleasure is super special.
Yeah.
So. Happy for you. Yeah, that actually maybe leads me on to um I think when I think of the word pleasure, I actually think of the practice of Gaga a lot. And Gaga is a practice that you connected to quite a bit, I think during school, but am I correct in that that was when started that journey? Yeah, okay. So I guess for listeners, like Gaga is a movement practice that Jiwon and I both had the privilege to train in during school, some with someone named Jiwon Ono, who worked with Batsheva Dance Company, which is the founder of the practice. But uh, yeah, over the years, like I saw the fire inside Jiwon when practicing Gaga, and I think we both value the practice quite a bit. And I wondered what the practice offers you, and yeah, like what kind of drew you in a lot to the practice?
Uh, I think I, s- mm, I still, no, maybe we start from this.
Ah, yes.
I remember the first time I took um Gaga class with Chisato. It was COVID, so we were on Zoom and we did Gaga on Zoom. And I had no idea what Gaga was um before that. But then suddenly Chisato's like, I think something to do like, oh, imagine your right leg is a flag. Imagine your limbs are, what do you say? The faucets, and water is
Mhm.
like splashing out of your limbs. And these kind of instructions to make us move, and it was really something new and eye-opening for me, because until then I feel like movement and dance technique is more about something to put our bodies in shape, um,
Mm.
kind of discipline our body in order to reach some kind of point that we are looking for and makes us a good dancer. But then I don't know, in Gaga, I was just being a flag, I was just being a faucet, I'm just being a football player, all these things. So I felt so much freedom during the class, and I just fell in love with it.
Mhm. I
Um,
love that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I had a similar revelation. I actually was able to take a class at some point in New York, not from Chisato, but from another Gaga practitioner. And I remember having the exact same feeling. And I remember actually saying in my audition for the place, like we had an interview section, and I remember saying to them, like, this asked some sort of question along the lines of why do you want to go to the school? And I was like listing
Uh-huh.
the reasons and the practices that I wanted to do. And I remember being like, and Gaga, oh my gosh, Gaga, like I love it so much. I think they were all like, it's okay, it's cool, but calm down. But I think it was this revelation of like there's a I guess a lot of us probably started to move because of a reason of joy, and maybe it allowed me to return to that pure sense of joy and pleasure and like playfulness and exploration, but in a yeah,
Mm.
in a non-aesthetic way, in a like illustrative way almost. It feels very like art in that moment. Like I feel like I'm in it actually feels like the same way I think I felt in like visual art classes and when I was a kid.
Mm.
Hmm. I wonder what your as a choreographer, you create a lot and it's a big part of your practice. And I wonder when you're creating, like, is your process aesthetically driven or is it sensation driven or is it both? Like what kind of lens do you go into pieces with, or does it depend on the work as well? I can imagine it might vary some, but yeah, where are you at currently maybe is a more specific way if that's useful.
Um, hmm.
Granted, we are like ever evolving people, so don't feel like it has to be a this is who I am forever.
I feel like um every time I start creating a piece, I like to start with having clear keywords
Mm,
and clear color of the work. Um,
mm,
what kind of color or texture or um, air that I want to create through this piece. And it's very, very clear in my mind, but it's not so easy to translate it into words. Um, yeah, so I start with that kind of clear sense of um, atmosphere of the piece in my mind. And then from there, if I'm working with dancers, I try
mm,
to communicate these, communicate this thoughts that I have about the piece with the dancers, and then to just share the same kind of um, mindset.
mhm.
And then from there, we would work together to find how we can um, translate that through movement.
Mm,
And when I'm working by myself, I think it's mostly intuition, uh, trying to
mm.
see how my body reacts to all those words that I have in my mind, and then seeing from there what works, what doesn't work. Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, this is a very specific question and super random maybe, but as you were speaking, I actually wondered when when you first think of these words, it again might change piece to piece, but do you tend to think of them in Korean or in English?
Ah, hmm.
Or both?
Both, both.
Okay.
Because
Mm.
sometimes there are Korean words that don't really translate exactly into
Yeah.
English, and sometimes, and vice versa. So I think
Mm.
I use both.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool. Interesting. Super interesting. Yeah, actually, okay, maybe that leads me on to my next question. Uh, you recently created a piece that involved your grandma,
Mhm.
and I would love to hear a bit more about like the how you arrived. I don't know your grandma, but did she have movement background? Like, how did you arrive at this place? And actually, yeah, uh, was that process more in Korean for you? Like, just more about the whole experience and like how it was to work with someone in your family as well. Just, just curious about the process for you.
Um, I've always wanted to create something with my grandma. Um,
Mm,
and I just decided that this is the time because it was performed as part of Resolution Festival at the place. And I know about the theater very well. I know about the festival very well. So I
mm,
thought now is the opportunity for me to really just have a go, um, just trying this out. Um, without having the pressure to like, I don't know, create something magnificent. Um, yeah, I thought this was a great chance for me to just do what I want to do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so my grandma doesn't have any background in dance or any performance related area. Um, Honestly, I didn't know she would say yes, but I just randomly asked her, um, like, would you be happy to make a piece with me and perform in London? She was like, she didn't even like hesitate 1 second. She was like, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, okay, yeah, okay, let's start. So
All
then,
right.
yeah, we started creating. Um, it was very different to the process that I had, and to any process that I had in the past, because firstly, she doesn't know anything about dance, and she is 78. Um,
Mm,
so there was a lot of things that I had to consider during the process. Yeah, everything was really just created around her, my grandma, which
mm,
is what I wanted to do for myself and for her. And yeah, because even just learning one phrase of movement for us, it would take like 5, 10 minutes to learn it and remember it and have it in our body. Um, for her, it would take a whole day or 2 days to learn it and really feel confident about doing it again.
mm,
So, um, yeah, it was a piece where um, patience and trust and love for her and for what I'm doing, the practice of just creating and dance came really important to, yeah, create the.
mm. I love I love hearing about this. It's making me smile a lot because I think it feels extremely genuinely rooted in love. And yeah, I think it just reminds me of the exact thing I was saying at the beginning of the episode around like feeling a sense of care when I'm around you in a space and this like prioritization of the human beings in the space, both in a like in a class space, but also especially in a creation space. I'm curious about when this prioritization of the human beings in the space came into your practice, but maybe it's useful to go back a little bit in your story because actually I don't think I know much about the very beginning of your movement journey. So maybe it's useful to start a little bit earlier, but however you would like to answer the question.
Yeah, how I started my dance journey. Well, I always loved dancing since I was a kid, but then I never considered being a professional dancer. Um, I really didn't even know what contemporary dance is exactly until I'm 16, 17, because I went to a very, very academic school where everyone studies hard, very hard. And it's just, um, yeah, it's just something that's normal, just to
Mm,
study very hard, go to a really good academic, prestigious university. But then when I was in year 11, the school, my school invited, we had like an arts week where we spend a week doing different um, arts and yeah, have fun. And they invited a contemporary dance choreographer, and we just spent a week doing workshops with them. And I was dancing all day long with them, and I just loved it. And it was a feeling that I never felt before when I was doing any other things. So yeah, from then on, I decided that I want to become a dance artist.
Hmm, cool. And did you know that then you wanted to study? Did you like quickly start looking like abroad, or did you think about studying in Korea? Like, what led you to London?
Oh, well, the school that I was going to was like a international school, and
Hmm.
it was like the base of the school was British.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
It was kind of um, a common route for students
Mm.
there to go to a British universities in London. So I feel like for me, it was just almost natural to just decide to
Okay.
come to London, but study dance.
Yeah. And growing up, you were training in dance as well, or it was kind of just something you did as a hobby, or okay. Nice.
I wasn't trained at all.
Okay.
Just from that point where, oh, I
Mm.
really love this. I
Yeah.
want to be a professional dancer. From then I
Mm.
started my training. And then yeah.
Okay. And now maybe going back towards the question I started to ask before, I guess I wonder for you, like, was it something that was just like a non-negotiable because of the way that you entered dance? And maybe it was a feeling that you had and just like in intuitively to bring a sense of care, but I guess I'm curious about like I think a lot of times dance spaces can be very disciplined, very even as we were talking about like this first time you took a Gaga class of like it opened your eyes up to a new way of experiencing dance and thinking about movement, and I feel that in your practice. I feel that same like sense of rootedness in why why we dance is because it feels good. It brings us joy to tell a story, to create connection. And I wonder, like, is that something that came out of a stark, like, opposition to something you experienced, or was it something that kind of formed slowly? I don't know.
To be honest, I think I learned a lot from Chisato, honestly,
Mm.
because I was in her group for what was that when we were in second year?
We did a repertoire project.
Yeah, 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 with different choreographers. And
Mm.
I was in Chisato's group, and her rep piece was half learning rep and half devising through improvisation. And when we were doing the devising part of that performance, she really just let us be ourselves. She
Mm.
created a space where we can take time to really just tune into our own bodies, um, see what it's offering today, and be ourselves. And
Mm.
then she would catch what each dancer's would be best to deliver a certain idea in the piece, And then she really just, yeah, made the piece around the individualities of each
Mm.
people in the group. Yeah, so and we all had such a good time working in that process. So I think I learned a lot from her and her process.
Mm. I actually was thinking about that project before we joined the call. Uh,
Mm,
I think yeah, it stands out as a moment that I remember watching you perform, and maybe it's this, I wasn't in the process, but like maybe it's the same thing translating really well to an audience member of, it was the first term of second year, like we had a whole year together, but like at the same time our first year was in COVID and we were in these small groups, so in a way I think I felt like I was still getting to know everyone, and it was one of the first times we were like formally performing for each other. But I remember watching that piece and feeling like I was able to witness each of the humans in the space in like a process of, also like in their own process of self-embodiment and discovery. Like, yeah, something that I think witnessing it, it felt like I had the gift of witnessing people experience something quite personal in a in a way that almost felt like it slowed down time, which is cool. Um, and
yeah.
like, yeah, it's super nice. I think those moments where a process kind of leaves an imprint on our journey is so exciting. And it's yeah, interesting to for me, I know sometimes, like, I know as it's happening that it's a very important experience, but it's not till later down the line that you start to go, ah, that's like what that imprint ended up being. That's what that process impacted me within, or Chisada is a very special woman. Very, very grateful for her. Ah, cool. I feel just a like a big smile about dance right now. So thank you for sharing all these little lovely sentiments. I
Thank
guess,
you.
yeah, to close, I'll ask you one more question of maybe it could be like the tiniest thing or something big if you have something big brewing, but I guess I'm curious what you're currently interested in exploring as an artist, whether that's like a piece or like it's fall and I am feeling inspired by whatever. Um,
Um, Really, I'm just trying to be open to everything that's
mm,
related to dance or movement. Yeah, so I I'm looking for um yeah, blah, blah. I'm looking for being a dancer, being a choreographer, um, creating fun, interesting things with different people from different areas of art. Um, yeah, design, music, photos.
mm,
Yeah.
I love sense of openness. Super cool. Thank you for sharing. It's been super, super lovely to chat with you. And yeah, I feel super calm right now in the best way of like uh grateful for souls like you in the dance world. um but but no, I'm I feel super lucky to have shared this conversation with you and to be able to catch up and actually, yeah, like unpack a little bit more of your journey that maybe I didn't know some of these things as well. So thank you for being so open. And listeners, please stay tuned for season 2 and leave any comments or questions or things that you loved hearing Jiwon talk about below. Um, yeah, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you soon.